Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I am Aurelia Hanin Salsabila from class 4B majoring English Education at UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta. In this occasion, I would like to give some brief explanation about the book that I have reviewed before. The title is Basic English Grammar for English Language Learner by Annie Seaton and H. Mew, publishing in 2007 by Saddleback Educational Publishing. So, in this book, there are 14 chapters, and the first chapter is What is Grammar? As we see here, there are 8 word classes. The first is noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. Okay, let's move to the next chapter is the capital letters. The capital letters, also called as big letters, uppercase, or just capital. And we usually use a capital letters on the beginning of the sentence. Next, chapter 3, we will discuss about noun. There is two common kind of noun. The first is common noun, and the second is proper noun. For the example, we can say doctor as a common noun, and as proper noun we can say the person. For the example, Dr. Sasha. Next is the kind of noun. We can find a singular noun, plural noun, collective noun, and masculine and feminine noun. Masculine and feminine. For the example is like father and mother, queen and king, aunt and uncle, and so on and so forth. So next is chapter 4. We will discuss about pronouns. There are different kind of pronoun. The first is personal pronoun. For example, the words I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. And the next is reflexive pronoun. The word is myself, himself, yourself, itself, and so on. The next is interrogative pronoun, which who, what, whom, whose, and etc. And the next is demonstrative pronoun. For the example is this, that, and those. We usually use a word this to refer things near us, and we usually use word those to refer to the some things or places further away from us. So next, chapter 5 will discuss about adjective. Adjective is a describing word. As we see here, for the example is a smart dog, a low fence, for the example. Next, we discuss about determiners. There are 3 articles we will discuss here. The first is a, and the. A and an, there are indefinite articles. We can usually use this for a singular noun to talk about any single person or things, and we usually use word the. This is called definite article that when we are talking about a certain things or person. For the example, Rudy is reading a book. We do not know yet about what is the book, but if we already know about the book, we use the word the. For example, Rudy is reading the book, and at that sentence means by we already know what the kind of book that Rudy's read. For example, a cooking or a grammar's book like that, and we can mention that by the book, not a book, like that. Next to the next chapter 7. Chapter 7 discuss about verb and tenses. In this book, we are discuss about the simple present tense, the present progressive tense, the present perfect tense, the simple past tense, and the past progressive tenses. Oh, also the last is the future tenses. The future tense. Okay. So the next is each chapter will discuss about subject-verb agreement. In here we know that when we use singular subject, we must to use a singular verb too. As the example in this page, she is a singular subject, so we use a singular verb too. Enjoy, adding by as at the end. That mentioned that was a singular verb. She enjoys music. And the next is chapter 9 about adverb. Adverb is a word that describes a verb. In this list, we know the example of the word adjective, like there is bright, happy, loud, peaceful, slow, and so on. Adding by ly at the end of the word that become an adverb. For the example, beautiful become beautifully, adding ly at the end, and brave become bravely, strong, sweet, sound become soundly, and so on. And the next is the chapter 10 discuss about preposition. Preposition is a word that connects one thing with another, showing how they are related. For the example is the books fell off the shelf, and so on. To make it more clear, we can work this exercise too. Number 1. The bus arrived at. We can fill that blank with word at 8:30 a.m. And number 2, the children are swimming in the pool. Number 3 is there's a picture on the wall. And the next is conjunction, chapter 11. Conjunctions is a linked-in word such as and, or, and, but. But this is just for example because there are so many conjunction. We that not discussed in this book. So for the example is the animal is large but timid, or the next is this a sheep or a goat, and so on. And the next is chapter 12, interjection. Interjection is a word that expresses a sudden, strong feeling such as surprise, pain, and pleasure. For example, in these pages, cheers, oh dear, or we can make another example, wow, how good, like that. And next chapter is sentences. As we know here, a sentences is a group of words that expresses a complete thought. The kind of sentences, there are a declarative sentence, interrogative sentence, ask about question, exclamatory sentence, and imperative sentence for an order. So the imperative means give command. For example, stand or sit down, like that. And then the last chapter we discuss about punctuation. Punctuation marks are signs such as period, commas, and question marks. For the first is period. We put period at the end of the sentence, as we know at the pages. The next is comma, used between noun and noun phrases usually, and that commas used to show where there are a brief pause. Exclamation is often used after a command to show surprise or anger. And the next is question mark. For the example is after a question we use that usually. And for the example, what is your name? Question mark. Or where do you live? Question mark. The next is apostrophe. Used an as, or that's we can call it in Indonesia petik atas, to show how on something. For example, at this chapter, at these pages, we can say that is Michael's bed or Peter's bed, like that. And to close this, we have an exercise to the number 1. For example, at the exercise 1, he had cheese, and we can put that period at the end of the sentence. So this is the end of the book. I think this book is very good for young learners or beginners learners. This is maybe very useful to elementary school, grade 1 until 3, and this is very suitable because this is accompanied by some exercises at the end of the chapter. So this is very recommended, and this is a good book. So this is the end of my brief explanation about this review. I'm sorry for the mistake. Hope you enjoy it and hope this video helpful for us. So thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.